Hi buddies, Marvin here from TechBroll.com, where we do unboxings, reviews, and sexy b-rolls. And today we're going to do an unboxing and quick overview of the latest chassis from Rakk Gears, the Rakk Galura. Now this chassis comes with two 200mm front case fans and a 120mm rear case fan. It also supports vertical GPU mounting as well as a front mesh panel. In this video, we're going to discuss about the design, construction, features, parts overview, and everything you should expect just in case you're also planning on buying this case. With that being said, let's get into it. Alright guys, so right here we have the box for the Rakk Galura gaming case. So in front we have the branding. And then right here we have the specifications, which we're going to talk about later. And then on the other side, just the same branding and same specifications here on the side. So let's see what comes in the package. I'm actually quite excited about this because especially I think what I have here is the white version, because it already comes with, you know, 200mm front case fans and one 120mm case fan. So essentially all you have to do now is just grab either a 240mm AIO or a 360mm AIO and you're good to go in terms of the cooling solution. Alright guys, so inside the box we have the Rakk Galura chassis itself, and it is actually protected by two styrofoam as usual. So it is well protected. Let me just put that aside as we take a look at the Rakk Galura gaming chassis itself. Wow! I'm not gonna lie guys, it does look really good, especially with this black and white variant. And it is also available in black, but in my opinion, this looks better in my personal preference, of course. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. What do you prefer? The black version or this white version? Alright, so let me just flip this on the front side as we take a look at the front panel. There you go. So in front, we have the mesh front panel, which is made out of metal. So it is not plastic, it is not rubber, it is not fabric, but made out of solid metal. We also have the Rakk Gears logo here, of course. At first, when I took a look at some photos, I thought this was mesh or filtered as well, but apparently it is made out of glass, which is fine since we have a mesh front panel right here. So the front panel actually really looks good and quite premium in my opinion. Very minimalistic at the same time. It does have some good design elements. Looking at the back side, we don't have anything here in terms of design. We just have a plain white cover made out of metal as well. And then flipping it all over at the back as we take a look at this gorgeous looking chassis. So we have some ventilations here up top, as well as the rear case fan mounting point that supports 200mm fan and 120mm case fan. We also have the 7 PCIe slots right here that is actually removable and reusable. So the important thing there is reusable, because some other budget cases you cannot reuse the covers once you actually remove them. We also have 3 PCIe slot right here, or covers as well, for the vertical GPU mounting support, which this case actually does feature. And then we also have here at the bottom a nice removable bracket for the power supply. So that's actually quite good, so that you don't have to worry about removing the power supply on the front side. And we also have here a dust filter at the bottom, but we'll take a look at that later. So let's move to the front side. There you go. Alright, so moving here on the front side, we have the tempered glass panel. I'm not exactly sure how thick this is, but we have a nice black border around it. And it has, or it is mounted using these two captive screws at the back. There you go. And you can just flip it. There you go. You can easily remove it. Let me just put it aside as we take a look at the interior. Okay, so inside we have some holes here for the front panel connectors, as well as the RGB headers, fan headers, and all that on the bottom of the motherboard. We also have a nice cover here, actually, for the cables that mimics, you know, the cases from NZXT, the S340. We have a cover here for the cables, and we don't have rubber grommet because apparently it doesn't make sense since we already have a cover right here. We have some holes here for cable management. And then we have a substantial cutout for the motherboard tray. We also have mounting points for the fans, just in case you want to mount your fans inside. And we also have some mounting points here. I'm not sure if you can mount hard drives here, but we have some mounting points here on the bottom of the case or on top of the power supply cover or power supply shroud. Alright, so we have here the 120mm case fan that I think is already ARGB. And we have the 200mm case fan here in front. So you already have a pretty substantial cooling solution right out of the box with the Rakk Galura. And it's actually quite substantial because it is already 200mm, two of them right there, and supports ARGB if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, let's go ahead and check out again the front side and remove the front panel cover. Let me just figure this out, how I can remove this. Usually there are clips here on the back side of the cover that you can pinch to remove the front cover, but I'm just gonna wing it here at the bottom. I'm just going to be careful because I'm not sure if we have cables, but I don't think so. There you go. So it is actually quite easy to remove, to be honest. There you go. So upon removing the front panel, let me just show you the back side of the front panel right here. There you go. So we have here, it is actually made out of acrylic or plastic. It is actually not glass. It is made out of plastic. I mean the side cover for the front panel. And then we have some honeycomb design here at the back. I think you will see that once the front panel case fans or the front case fans illuminates, you will see the honeycomb design of this chassis. And then upon removing the front panel, we have the 200mm case fans, which are massive, as you can see here. So you have a ton of airflow. I'm not sure exactly about the specifications of these case fans or how much RPM and CFM they are rated, but nevertheless, you have two massive 200mm case fans out of the box. But if you don't want to use this, the front panel actually supports 3 120mm case fans, 2 200mm fan, as you can see here, and up to 360mm radiator, either using liquid cooling or the all-in-one solutions. But I'm pretty stoked that, again, you already have two 200mm case fans here in front and one 120mm case fans at the rear side of the case. So essentially, like I said earlier, you just have to purchase either a 240mm AIO or 360mm AIO, place it on top, and you're good to go. Alright, so what else do we have? Let's check out the backside. Let's remove the cover so that we can check out the cable management points or the cable management space. To be honest, guys, as for my first impressions, the build quality of this case is actually feels better compared to other cases from Rakk Gears. It's still, a little bit flimsy and thin, but I feel like it is way thicker compared to other chassis from Rakk Gears that I've tried before. And the quality of the paint job actually looks really good as well. Alright, so here at the back, we have, like I said, the massive cutout for the motherboard. So, and we also have here a pre-managed cable for the front panel, or actually the top panel I/O or input-output ports, which we'll take a look at in a moment. So we have some massive Velcro straps right here for cable management. There you go. And what else do we have here at the top? I think we also have RGB front panel connections right here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Judging by this SATA connector, I think we have some integrated RGB controller here on this chassis that you can utilize with the 200mm case fans as well as the rear 120mm case fan. So you don't have to worry about that. So you can power it using the SATA connector instead of plugging it on your motherboard. But we'll find that out once we make the actual build video. But yeah, we already have pre-managed cables here. We have this removable mounting points for the SSD. I think it is compatible with HDD as well, or hard disk drive. 2.5-inch hard drives, of course. They basically have the same size. So you can mount 2 SSDs right here. And here's what I'm talking about actually. So right here we have the hard disk cage that is actually adjustable, so you can just remove or fasten the screws underneath the case, and then you could move the hard disk cage in front or at the back depending on your preference, so that you have more cable management space. And what's good about this is that the hard drive cage are actually two less, so you don't have to use screws. We have here the hard drive mounting chassis. You can just clip the hard drive here, place it back like so, and you're good to go. Unless, of course, you want to secure the hard drive better, then you can use screws as well. And then inside the other hard drive cage, we have the accessory box. So let's take a look at what we have here. So inside the box, compared to other chassis from Rakk Gears, the accessories are actually inside the box, compared to their previous chassis that it is just inside the plastic. So as you can see, they are actually upgrading or improving their packaging as well as the package contents. So inside this plastic, we have some mounting screws for the case fans, for the motherboard. So yeah, you have some screws here for mounting your hardware. And then we have this thing. I'm not sure what this for, but I'm guessing this is something that is part of the vertical graphics card mounting system. And then we also have this contraption right here. Again, I'm not sure what this is for, but we'll find out soon once we actually build inside the chassis. So we also have some zip ties, which is actually quite convenient, especially for first-time builders. You don't have to buy zip ties yourselves. You already have that inside the box. So like I said, the hard drive cage is adjustable, which is really awesome, especially if you have a lot of wires. You can just push this back right up to this front side, and then you can place your cables here at the center alongside your power supply. So what else do we have here? Like I said, we don't have rubber grommet because we already have a cover on the interior of the chassis. In terms of the spacing here at the backside, we have at least 30mm in terms of cable management space, which is actually quite awesome, which means you don't have to worry about cramming your cables here at the back because you have a plenty amount of room to work with, which is awesome. Especially if you're going to use some fan hubs, you don't have to worry about that. So what else did we miss? Let's just check out the top panel. Let me just flip this around. Alright, so here at the top side, we have a nice removable magnetic mesh, and it's actually quite sturdy. It's still flexible, but it is sturdier than usual magnetic dust filter right here. And it also has this design cut out here, probably to make it easier for you to remove the dust filter right here. And like I said, here on top, in terms of compatibility with a radiator, it is compatible with up to 360mm AIO or radiator, as well as 2 140mm case fans and 3 120mm case fans. And as you can tell, we have some adjustment option for the spacing of your case fans, just in case you're planning on using 120mm case fans or 2 140mm case fans. Now, right here at the bottom, if you take a look at this perspective, we have the power button. We have 2 USB 3.0. We have 2 USB 2.0, a dedicated mic port, a speaker or headphone port, a reset button, and of course the RGB button that is integrated with this chassis, so that you can just attach these 200mm case fans and the 120mm case fans with this button right here. On the build video, I'm going to certainly use this to feature that awesome RGB button and compatibility. So as you can tell, we have a quite substantial amount of ports, especially USB 3.0 and USB 2.0. So we have a total of 4 ports. Unfortunately, since this is technically a budget case, we don't have a USB Type-C port right here, which is somehow already expected right here. So let's flip it at the other side so that we can take a look at the bottom and show you what I'm talking about, the adjustable hard drive cage. There you go. So right here at the bottom, like I mentioned, you can fasten these screws and move the hard drive cage, and it is actually quite substantial in terms of the amount of adjustment period you have. You can push it up to this point and up to that point. Then we have this nice removable dust filter for the power supply. And what I like about this chassis, actually guys, to be honest, is that it is actually quite good in terms of build quality. Like the dust filter is thick, made of plastic and mesh, compared to other chassis from Rakk Gears that's just, you know, thin mesh filter. But this one looks and feels more durable, and the overall look and feel of the chassis is actually better compared to what I've tried before from Rakk Gears, which does make sense because this chassis is actually quite expensive compared to their previous offering. This one is around 3,600 at least for the black version, and 3,700 for this white version. So you should be expecting a lot more in terms of the features, design, extraction, because you're paying a lot more, of course, right? So going back in front, let me just browse through all the specifications right here. In terms of graphics card clearance, it is compatible up to 360mm card. So you don't have to worry about compatibility with the latest AMD 6000 and NVIDIA Ampere graphics cards right here, because as you can tell, you have a good amount of clearance for your graphics cards. And for CPU cooler clearance, it is compatible to CPU coolers up to 180mm. Like I said, if you're going to opt for AIO coolers or radiators, you can mount it here and you're good to go in terms of cooling solution because you already have those case fans. So in terms of the internal dimensions, let me just break down it for you. We have 200mm width, 370mm height, and 400mm in length. So again, you have a pretty substantial amount of space for this ATX chassis. So being an ATX chassis, of course, it is compatible with ATX motherboard. I'm not sure if it is compatible with eATX, but definitely ATX, and then micro ATX and mini ATX. I'm not exactly sure if anyone would put a mini ATX board in here because that would look really awkward. Judging with all of the features right here, I believe this chassis is worth the 3,600 price tag. First, because of the design and construction, solid build quality, better than most chassis from Rakk Gears I've tried before. Feature set, as you can tell, aesthetically pleasing. We have this nice cover right here to cover your cables. We have ARGB case fans out of the box. We have plenty of room. We even have this nice removable power supply bracket. And like I said, the graphics, vertical graphics card mounting feature. So overall, if you ask me, I think it is worth that price tag, especially the amount of option you have in terms of mounting case fans and AIO coolers right here. Because if you think about the previous case fans from Rakk Gears, their old case fans doesn't even support mounting AIO on top. So as you can see, they are already moving forward in terms of upgrading their chassis. So yeah, I think that's about it for our unboxing and quick overview. Actually, it is not that quick because I'm talkative. But yeah, I think that's about it. The case, I think, is pretty good, pretty awesome. And watch out for my build video on this chassis. I'm planning on using the already late ASRock B550 Taichi build with a Ryzen processor, 5000 processor, and I think I'm also going to use an AMD card with this build. And yeah, so I'll just wait for the components to arrive and I'll start building this chassis. So thank you very much for watching, guys. In case you're wondering where you can get this from rakk.ph, or I guess from ECPC and their partner stores. I'll put the link below. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like this, especially if you want to follow the build video for this chassis. Subscribe if you like this, and see you next time. Have a great day, guys. You're awesome.